Welcome to Starengu. I'm your host, Tasha Johnson. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Malikah Kelly, creator of MalikahKelly.com, and she provides advice on aspirational yet affordable fashion and beauty. Welcome to the show, Malikah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks again for coming on the show. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am born and raised in New York, right here in Queens. I have been doing my own personal fashion and beauty blog for about 3 years. Prior to that, I shouldn't say prior because I still do it. I have been in the fashion marketing field for over 10 years. So I've done a lot of stuff with contemporary brands, luxury brands, everything from marketing strategy, digital and e-commerce, and then influencers. So quite a bit of experience in the marketing world, specifically in fashion. And then I just decided to, start my own brand and my own journey a couple of years ago.
So why did you create your own website? Just curious.
Honestly, I was really just bored. I was really in a stuffy, unfulfilling, very corporate job, and I needed to have my own kind of creative outlet. I needed to have a place where no one could tell me what to do, and I could create the kind of creative and imagery that I wanted and just have a place to write again and express myself again and do really fun things. So that's really just why it started. And also part of it was because I was doing so much work with influencers and I kind of felt like I might want to try to get in on this. Like I'm seeing how brands are throwing crazy money at these people that a lot of them are not even that cute or not even that stylish. They just have followers.
Yeah.
Just being honest. So, it's kind of like if they can do it, absolutely, why couldn't I, especially with my background? So it just started out as a passion project and then became like a really fun side hustle.
That's awesome. And so kind of piggybacking off of that question, what is your fashion style? How would you kind of classify it?
So I do kind of have two modes that I go back and forth. Most of the time, I'm pretty much like feminine, sexy with a little bit of edge or whimsy. So I like things that are quirky. I like things that are not like the obvious kind of sexy, just kind of like an understated hint of sexy. Like my boyfriend's favorite thing to say is that I love to wear ugly shoes, which is true. I like them very clunky and like weird sometimes. Like I enjoy them. And then I do work out a lot and try to stay pretty fit. So the other half of the time, I'm just in activewear.
Okay. I feel like you and I are kindred spirits. Most of the time I am in activewear as well because I work out quite a bit myself. So yes.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's a very different look, but it's just like, it's functional. It works. You like it.
So what would you consider to be your favorite fashion accessory?
My favorite fashion accessory, that's a hard one because I really have a lot that I like, but it's probably like my signature ring that I wear almost every day. It's my right hand ring, and it's like the most expensive thing I ever bought myself. It's a diamond, and it wasn't even that expensive. It's all just like pave, but I bought it, I guess, a couple of years ago. And it's really just like a way of me treating myself and like finally celebrating being able to afford something like that. Just being able to afford to walk into a store and buy something really nice for myself. And it's something that, could become a family heirloom. So in all my pictures, you've definitely seen me wearing it. And it's kind of just like my little thing.
Aw, and you know what? I hope everyone is taking note of that because I feel like everyone should have a goal to buy something for themselves that they normally wouldn't necessarily do. You know what I mean? Like we need to celebrate ourselves, I feel like. So I love hearing you say that.
Yeah, I think so. And it's like, especially if it's something that will appreciate and value, and there are not that many things that do that the way that fine jewelry does. So I would suggest, you can't really ever go wrong with a diamond, or maybe something that's conflict free and not controversial if you are very concerned about that. But yeah, that's something that you as a woman want to treat yourself to. I think it's important, and I'm really happy with my purchase.
Nice. So a lot of people out there, they want to stay trendy and all that stuff, of course, but where should fashionistas on a budget shop?
So it's really funny. I'm probably the only fashion blogger that actually hates shopping. I really don't like it. And I also am very frugal as a person. So I very much like my money in my bank account, not in my closet.
Yes.
So it takes a lot for me to feel like I'm going to part with my money to do the shopping. And that's also why, as a blogger, you don't see me doing a lot of like swipe up on this or like to know it kind of shopping posts because I don't like to shop. I don't want to waste my money. I'm also not into mindless consumerism, so I wouldn't advocate for people to be in that as well. So, and I actually have a whole
I
post
liked
about
you for a reason.
Thank you.
I knew when I saw your site, I was like, yep, okay.
That one. And
Yep.
I have a whole post on my blog. If you search oldies but goodies, it's about like my favorite things I've owned, like stuff I've owned for 10 years that I still style differently every season because I hate to shop. But if you are into shopping and you want to save money, I really like all these like crop of new Instagram websites like Shein and Romwe are really great. Lulu's great. Showpo is great. I know a lot of people might feel weird about ordering stuff that, you know, is like really cheap and it comes from China, but I've purchased on those sites like many times and it's always cute. I would just say pay attention to the sizing because even when you can return stuff, it's really annoying too. Like they make you just like there's no reason to return it because it's so cheap and you don't want to send it back to China, right? So
Yeah.
just pay attention to the sizing. And then if you have time, Amazon Fashion has been getting so good. It's hard to search and really find the good gems on there. So that's why I say if you have time to really dig around. But I found some really, really cute stuff and it's never expensive. And then there's always 2-day shipping and then sometimes free returns. So
Oh,
those are
wow.
probably my new kind of go-to places. And then I'm also like a big sale shopper. And then like I use a lot of the cashback sites, so like affiliate networks or Ebates. So even when you are buying something, you can always get your cash back, which kind of makes the deal a little bit easier. And if you are on Ebates, I learned this a couple months ago, the last time I cashed out my, like, you know, you stash your cash back and then they give you your money back quarterly. So you get the option to either get your cash, like cash money, or you can get a gift card at one of their partner sites. And if you take the gift card, you get a bonus. So I almost always get like a Sephora gift card so that I just like can buy all my Sephora stuff without actually spending more money because I've just been accumulating it on these little cash back on purchases. So
Okay, that is a good gem. I did not know about that part.
yeah, just take the gift card and you can pick like almost from any retailer that you shop at a lot. So my go-to Sephora because I love beauty, but you can like they give you a laundry list of retailers.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up too. I cannot be the only one that did not know that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so spring is finally here.
Is it though? Is it really?
Maybe not in Chicago just yet since we had snow here yesterday.
Oh my God, stop.
Yeah, it has been an interesting couple days. So spring is probably here everywhere else but Chicago.
Right.
With summer just around the corner, what colors or prints do you feel will be big this year?
I've been seeing a lot of like yellows and saffrons, which I really like. So just kind of like really warm yellows and golden tones, which I think look great on, especially on darker skin tones. They just like pop.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a lot of new animal prints coming out that I like. So not just like the classic leopard or cheetah, like I'm seeing zebra and like snake skin. So all that stuff is really cool. And then there's always florals, but I like looking at like really graphic florals, not kind of like your typical pastel paisley kind of mossy look.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm actually kind of piggybacking off of that question. If you had the ability to create your own fashion trend, what would it be like?
My own fashion trend. Ooh, that's a good one. I think that I would like to see I feel like American style in particular has become very, very casual.
Yeah.
Overall, and I would like to see people, I guess, trying a little bit more if that's a trend.
So you don't want people just walking around in t-shirt and jeans anymore?
I mean, there's a cute way to do that though. And I just feel like a lot of it has gotten like the whole like athleisure thing. So people just don't get dressed anymore.
It's true.
I think if there's anything I want to bring back, like it's getting dressed. And granted, like, you know, I'm guilty of going to yoga and then staying in my leggings for a couple of hours while I run errands. But that's something that I lived in Europe for a couple of years. And that's something that would have never happened when I lived in Italy. Like people just don't do that.
You know, someone told me about that. Overseas, like they automatically can spot Americans because
we look like savages.
Yeah. So that really is true, you feel?
I feel like I feel like we're very easy to spot for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the way of dressing. And number two, it's just, I think one of my friends said actually it was very interesting that whenever you see a woman on the beach with a six pack, you know she's American and probably from California, because like European girls don't try that hard. Like we just like either try too hard or don't try at all. Is kind of the
Really
stereotype.
interesting.
So like there's not like this whole concept we have of like beach bodies and getting in shape for summer is not really something that anyone does where I've lived or traveled to.
Oh, that is super interesting. Okay. I would have thought, being warmer weather over there, that they would be kind of similar, kind of like training and all that stuff. So that it's not like that over there, huh?
I mean, I don't think there's this obsession with like perfection as it is here. Like I think that it's just kind of like you go to the beach and like you put the bathing suit on and that's just like, and maybe it's because you go there so often, or like if you like my friend grew up in Greece, so she's always on the beach, so she doesn't care what you look like in a bathing suit. You're not there for appearances, you're there for the experience.
Got it. Got
But I
it.
think that for us, you know, some women, especially on the culture you're raised in, part of the way you look is part of the experience.
Mhm.
And I know I've been guilty of that as well. If I'm not happy with my body, I'm not having fun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel the same way. I have to feel like I'm in shape. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I do too. Like I wish I could just not care, but I definitely care. So
Oh
like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have that level of freedom yet. So
Yeah. So, based on your background, and again, you travel quite a bit, and maybe you can get into some of your travels too. But what is the one thing that you can't travel without?
So yeah, I have been really lucky to be able to travel a lot. I know that that is something that is, you know, yeah, I worked hard, but it is also just a privilege. Like not everyone gets to, no matter how hard you work.
Yeah.
So I think that for long haul flights, like international flights, especially overnight, I always do a sleeping mask, which they're kind of like a sheet mask, but they don't scare people because they go on like a clear gel. So you put it on, it dries clear. My favorite one is from Sephora. It's like a little pod and it's $4. And you can actually like there's enough for 2 uses in that pod. So because I'm cheap, so I use half of it and then like tape it back up.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh
uh,
my God. I'm just like picturing that in my head. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah,
All
you
right.
can tape it up, put it in because if you don't close it properly, it'll like dry out. So as long as you cover it up so it doesn't, you know, it doesn't evaporate, then you'll be fine. You can use it again. But that's really like the main thing because I'm also someone who, you know, we don't get a lot of vacation time. So you're always kind of packing your schedule when you travel. So I'm
Hmm.
like, when I get off the plane, I want to be ready to go. So I do my sleeping mask. I do my makeup on the plane. It's actually like kind of a guilty pleasure, and plane light is really good. So I do my makeup on the plane. So I'm ready to just get off the plane and just go. Like there's no going to the hotel and taking a nap and freshening up. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, so in-flight skincare is probably like my pretty big thing.
You know what? I have to agree with you definitely on that because I try to make the most. I travel for business too, and I do try to make the most of my time on the plane. I am that person putting on the makeup too. I am with you
Yeah,
on that. Because it's
the
like,
light's really good.
yeah, the lighting's decent, and once I get off that plane, I want to grab my bag, go eat, most likely because yeah, your schedule is jam packed. A lot of people don't realize this when you are traveling for business. Because I've had some friends that are like, "Oh, that must be no, it's not super fun all the time." I mean, it depends on where you're going, right? But
Right.
it's they have your schedule pretty jam packed.
Yeah, like you don't get a lot of downtime, so like you have to kind of grab it when you can. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to keep it moving. I'm not good at sitting still either. I'm like always multitasking.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. So here's a couple fun questions coming up.
Okay.
Describe yourself using 5 adjectives and tell us why.
Are these adjectives I think, or are they ones that have been used to describe me?
I would say what you think.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but if we start talking about what people may think about you, that could be different, right? I don't
Well,
know, depending upon your friends, how honest your friends are.
right. Okay. Well, I will say that I am charming.
Mhm.
I am smart. I am creative, witty,
Okay.
and energetic.
Nice. I like that list. And tell us why you feel you're those things.
I think that, I mean, I'm just generally speaking a very high energy person, and I think I'm charming, and I've also been told I'm charming a lot, so I just go with it. But I do think that, yeah, I know how to talk to people. I'm good at talking and at listening, I think. I
Mhm.
mean, someone can comment and tell me if I'm wrong. Um, and I think that just for part of what I do, creativity is required, like between what I do for my personal business and for my day job. So it's kind of just something that has always been a part of who I am.
And you know what? I love the fact that you have, again, your day job and you've got your personal job. Take note of
Yes,
that.
exactly.
I want everyone to take note of that, because I tell people all the time that you cannot just rely on one thing. And if you're not feeling as fulfilled in your 9 to 5, there's a way to thrive after your 9 to 5 by creating your own opportunity. I love the fact that that's what you did.
Yeah,
I love that.
there really is. And like, I mean, I'm all about multiple streams of income are everything. Like that's just the way with the future. So you gotta have that. And entrepreneurship can be very unstable. It can be very unpredictable. And there is, as rewarding as it is, it's also rewarding knowing that my rent is paid and I can buy food and I'm not like financially stressed or strapped or worried about health insurance. Like there's a lot of creature comforts that come with having a corporate job.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I just love the fact that you have both as well. I tell people all the time, you don't have to, and I even did a whole like post and a segment on this too. You don't have to quit your 9 to 5 to start a business. You
You
can
really
do both.
don't.
You can do both. And to be quite honest with you, as someone, if I'm single, I mean, if I were to do that, I mean, that would be, I
Yeah.
mean, that would just be detrimental. I mean, that's a very huge risk to take. And why do that when you could be doing both at the same time?
Exactly. And people often ask me if I want to, quit my job and blog full time. A lot of people have done it. And I don't, just because I feel like, number one, it was a passion project. And then I feel like if it becomes my day job, all of those stressors about day jobs will follow me and I'll eventually like not like it and it won't be as pure. And I won't be
Exactly.
able to do things that I want to do because I'll be doing things that I have to do because they pay or are bringing in income. Um, but granted, like, yeah, like it's hard work. You get up early, you stay up late, you work
Yep.
your weekends. Like it's definitely a compromise of your time. But if you're building something and doing something you enjoy, then it's worth it.
Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. I tell people that all the time. So I just had to piggyback off of that because I love that, the fact that you're doing that. And I wanted to make sure that people notice that.
Yes.
Different streams of income, people. So here's another question for you. Imagine there's a camera watching you every second of the day. Would you act differently?
Definitely. Yeah, I would absolutely. I mean, how could you not? How could you not? Even like, people talk about reality stars, like they talk about Kim Kardashian a lot and how she looks fake. And I'm just like, well,
Hmm.
you would look fake if you were under that much pressure and scrutiny. Like everything you do, someone is going to comment on. So of course you're always like on, like
Yeah.
even one of my friends pointed out the other day that I shift my eyes a lot in Insta stories. And I was like, honestly, like who notices that? Like,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
I would never notice that. And I got to be honest, I don't think I would comment on that either.
Right. But so, and then I'm just like, I'm not necessarily aware of that. And I probably have a lot of idiosyncrasies I'm not aware of.
Sure.
So, yeah, if I knew someone was always watching, like, when can you ever be off?
See, I would hate that. I don't think I would not make a good television show. It would be probably more like a dramedy, I feel like. Like I just could not, I don't want to be on all the time. I'm
No,
always
I
how
don't.
people do that. I could never do that.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, you need your you time. Like, you need to be able to turn off. And I can't. Even I'm very reserved with how much I am on camera, which is why like, a lot of my content is planned so that
Mhm.
I don't have to always be on when I don't want to be on.
Exactly. Yes. I'm big on content batching is one of the things I love the most. I really do. Planning in advance. That saves you so much time, especially when you do have a 9 to 5 as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
definitely. So last but not least, what's the best piece of advice that you have for aspiring bloggers and entrepreneurs?
Get up earlier.
Oh yeah.
That's really like the only way you'll get more time in the day, which you need as an entrepreneur when you have a day job,
Yep.
is to wake up earlier. So I usually wake up, if I have to leave to be to work at 8:30, like I leave my house at 8:30,
Mhm.
I get up around 6, so I have extra hour and a half to do something
Yep.
that's related to business. And then that kind of picks up another hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on deadlines at the end of the day. So, and that something could be a blog post, it could be editing, it could be organizing things for freelancers that I outsource to, because I do outsource a good amount.
Mhm.
It could be I have to do a photo shoot before I get into the office. Like there's so many things on your daily to-do list, and just get up earlier. That's the only way you'll do it. You'll need that time. And then the other thing on that note is you have to kind of fiercely protect your downtime.
Yes.
So when I'm off. My phone is silenced, the screen is down, and I'm like in bed reading with my nightcap, because I have a nightcap every night. I'm a whiskey girl. And that's my wind down, and like, don't bother me. And I just, go to bed so I can get up early and then can power through whatever else has to happen the next day.
Great, great. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on to the show. So how can people get in touch with you if they wanted to learn more about you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram. It's at Malikah Kelly. Same thing on Twitter. You can also check out my website, malikahkelly.com. And I respond to DMs, so feel free to DM me or shoot me an email through my site. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out to the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to today's podcast. I'm confident that my side hustle of helping others to invest in themselves via my YouTube channel, this podcast, and most importantly, my online courses can be of assistance to you. If you enjoy Starengu's podcast, please consider becoming a supporter by donating to help offset the cost of producing this show. Be sure to check out Starengu's ultimate social media content calendar. Remember, if you're everything to everyone, then you risk being no one. You never know who you may inspire. See you in the next episode.